Welcome to another action-packed, exciting hour of the Smoky Mountain Wrestling Rewatch Along Project. This is podcasting the way it used to be and the way you like it. This show is a production of the Something Else Podcasting Network, and it is episode number 096 of Smoky Mountain Wrestling from November 27th, 1993, taped November 8th, 1993, at the Newton Recreation Center in Newton, North Carolina. My name is Arya, and joining me, as always, is the olives and sour cream to my pickles and jam. It's Trae. Trae, how be you today?
Olives and sour cream sounds fucking disgusting.
And pickles and jam sounds any better?
Oh, did I tell you last weekend when we went to the bar for Friday shot night, one of the shots was called the pickle shot, and it was just like it was a chilled shot of Tito's with a pickle juice taster, and it was surprisingly really good.
I believe you have told me about this before. I don't know if you told it on the show or not, but you have told it. So you're telling me that we didn't do a Friday night spot show last week because you were busy getting drunk?
That is correct, yes.
I can't believe you would thumb your nose at our joyous audience. So for
Look,
the 12 people who will
hey,
listen to this in the next
I made
24
good
hours,
for I made it good doing the fucking TNA show this week.
yes, in case you didn't listen to it already, I guilt tripped Trey into watching TNA and talking about it yesterday. So that was a train wreck. And speaking of train wrecks, in case you're one of the 12 people listening to this on Thursday, tomorrow, we love you tomorrow. The Friday night spot show returns tomorrow night, whenever the hell I post it. Um, I don't know why we like the hilarious thing is like we do not have to record it Friday night at 8 o'clock or whatever time we do it. We can literally record it anytime we want, and I can post it Friday night at 8. However, it's not the same.
It wouldn't be
It's not
honest.
the same as just recording it Friday night at like 8 o'clock Eastern, and then me posting it at like 11:30 at night. Uh,
And actually,
but that
we do aspire to start broadcasting it live at some point as soon as we can work out the logistics.
Yes, I did say I was going to spend the last 2 weeks trying to figure out the logistics, and I have done no such thing. So,
Shit
but hey, we,
happens.
I'm going to shoot here with the audience. This is Tuesday, so I got a couple days to figure this shit out. Um, but yeah, so the Friday night spot show this Friday night at some point, and we are talking about the first half of the infamous Heroes of Wrestling pay-per-view. Trey,
You think
I,
you think it'll be worse than the TNA show? Well, you said this was a good TNA show. You
yes,
think it'll be worse than a bad TNA show?
I think yes, because even TNA's worst matches, and we watched a lot of Miss TNA Bruce, and we watched Disgraceland, and we watched all this other shit. Like those matches usually went about 2 to 3 minutes. I don't know what half of the show it's on, but that Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov versus the Bushwhackers match, that's I think at least 10 minutes. You
Oh,
know?
isn't that like the one that Dave rated like absolute zero,
Yes.
the lowest
And
rating of any match ever?
yes. And Brian Alvarez rated it something like negative 382 million stars or something.
I can't wait. I can't wait.
You so you've never seen any of it. I mean, I'm assuming you've seen the Jake Roberts, you want to play 21? I got
Yeah.
22 promo.
Yeah, I've seen clip. I watched Brian Zane over at Wrestling with Regret. I've watched his review, and it's pretty thorough. But I haven't actually sat down and it, taken in the matches for myself. So there's a significant probability that I may partake in some mood elevation on Friday.
So in other words, try to not get our video feed working because then you might be shown on camera uh, imbibing.
Yeah, no, we don't want that.
All right. So we are at the midway point of the second annual Thanksgiving Thunder Tour, which, to my surprise, I don't know about yours, but to my surprise, did you realize this Thanksgiving Thunder Tour was going to be during Thanksgiving weekend?
Well,
See,
I
it's like
guess I
I
didn't
wish
really
they
think
would have,
about it.
yeah, I wish they would have told us, more about it in the last few weeks. We may have been excited for the second annual Thanksgiving Thunder Tour.
Yeah, well, at least we've got the 4th of July tour coming up around Christmas.
Yeah. Do you, I know that, you and I are off by a few years in age, but when you were a kid, like, were you watching like Cartoon Network when they would air like the old cartoons?
I did not have Cartoon Network until later. I was much more of a Nickelodeon
Okay.
kid.
All right. There was a lot of shows I didn't even enjoy, but I'd watch the opening because I enjoyed the theme song. And don't ask what made me think about this, but I was just thinking about Josie and the Pussycats.
Hmm. I've heard of it.
Have
I
you
don't
ever?
know. I don't know it. By the way, yeah, you want to
Yeah,
know
you want
what
to
I'm
know what
doing?
I'm doing?
Okay, as we're recording, what I'm doing tomorrow night, but as you're listening, what I did last night.
Not watch Dynamite because I know that's not the case.
No, I am going to see Sailor Moon live.
Now, are you gonna dress like Sailor Moon, like wear a cute little skirt and all that stuff?
No, it was too short notice to plan the costume out, unfortunately.
God damn it!
Yeah.
Well, I hope you have fun at the Sailor Moon convention. But
It's you know, I love my missus.
oh fuck! I just realized we may not be able to do the Friday night spot show on Friday night.
Oh, what did you just remember?
I have a date.
Oh,
I know, right?
bring the date to
It,
the
it really,
show.
it really
Look,
tells
if
you about my love life. That
bring
I
bring your
just
date to the
remembered
show, and if your date survives this, you should get married immediately.
he is a wrestling fan.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, he was talking about the New Japan Cup earlier, and I'm like, the last New Japan show I watched was Wrestle Dynasty. Actually, that's not entirely true. I watched a little bit of was it Chicago they were in? Uh, with the Gabe
Uh,
Kidd 30-minute draw that led to an Iron Man match.
uh, San Jose.
Okay, San Jose, yeah.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that was the last bit of New Japan I watched. But yeah, he was talking about how it's easier to watch New Japan Cup shows when you skip the tag matches and just watch the tournament matches. I'm like, that's what I did for G1 for years.
Sacrilege.
Like, like we will get along quite well. Oh, bollocks. So the New Japan Cup final was earlier today. Did you pick Beep to beat Beep in the finals?
I am several shows behind. I have not. What was the last show that I watched? I think it would have been March 14th. So I think I
I
am
don't know.
three shows behind. I have not seen
Well,
the last three New Japan Cup shows. I have not seen Collision, and so this weekend, while my wife is going to be out of town for a few days, so I'm gonna be hanging out alone. So the plan is, in addition to the shows that we're going to review, four New Japan Cup shows, Collision, by then Dynamite, and I don't know, I guess the Scott Demore shows because those amuse me for whatever reason.
oh Lord. So yeah, so it's nice that my that I forgot about my romantic life.
Well, I hope your date goes
I guess
well.
I should probably text him to see if we're still on for Friday.
Yeah.
Um, we're seeing a movie, but this movie starts at 6:30. So who knows? Well, you and
Oh,
I hate to break kayfabe, but you and I may have to do the show on like Thursday night or something.
maybe. That's the other thing I might do this weekend. I may go. Queen of the Ring is playing over right near my house, so maybe I'll go do that this weekend.
So I posted this on Facebook, but I was gonna go see Queen of the Ring last weekend, but none of my local theaters has it, so I was
Wow,
pissed.
that's a
And
bummer.
then one of my Facebook friends was like, "Well, they said limited engagement." I'm like, "Well, limited doesn't mean none,"
No shit.
you know?
What the fuck, dumbass?
Yes. Oh Lord. So before I stick my foot too far in my mouth here, let's go to the intro of the show. Let's go. It's Bob Caudle with Dutch Mantel, and we have a tremendous show to talk about this week.
Welcome to another exciting action-packed hour of Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Professional wrestling the way it used to be and the way you like it. Hi, fans. I'm Bob Caudle along with Dr. Dirty Dutch Mantel. And Dutch, this is our best wrestling program ever right here on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. Fans, we got a wild one today. We're going to see Bobby Blaze against Killer Kyle. That's going to get our matches underway. We're going to go back and look at a tape of the bodies and the bruises. What a wild time that was. What about Down and Dirty?
On Down and Dirty today, the dirtiest Down and Dirty ever is going to be a reunion of the dirties. Dirty Dutch Mantel, I'm going to be in the ring with a dirty white boy and the dirty white girl today on Smoky Mountain Wrestling. But let me draw a name here to face Tim Horner in the Beat the Champ contest.
All right, go ahead.
Here it is.
Then
Here
I'm going
it
to
is.
tell them about our big main event.
Give me a drum roll. Da-dum-da-dum. Here it is. And the winner is, what's that say? I can't even read my own writing. Oh, Chris Kanyon will face Tim Horner today in the Beat the Champ contest.
All right, fans, our big main event. What a main event is going to be a six-man tag action. The Bodies in Primetime, Brian Lee against the Rock and Roll
Hold
and
on
Tracy
a second.
Smothers.
Bob Caudle, last week, I know everybody saw it. Bobby Blaze almost killed me. He had a foreign object. He had those feathers, and he beat me with that pillow. And oh, my neck still hurts. My head still hurts. He could have killed me. And today, I'm going to be in Killer Kyle's corner to make sure that Bobby Blaze does not use any more foreign objects like those feathers or whatever else he may have with him.
All right, fans, we're going to be right back after we take this time out.
So I noticed this a few weeks ago. I don't know if you have or not. Have you noticed that they're not even pretending like there's more than one name in the hat for the Beat the Champ?
I haven't. I haven't.
It's like they aren't even pretending at this point.
Mm.
Like last week, he put the hat on Cottle's head, and this week he just after he took out Chris Canyon's name, like he turns the hat pretty much upside down, and you see that nothing comes out of the hat.
Well, if you need a TV title challenger, who better than Canyon?
There you go. So now that we've both seen the show, maybe we should wait till the end to discuss this. Is this our best wrestling program ever?
I I don't think so. I don't even think I don't even think that this was the best Smoky Mountain episode that we've seen in the last 6 weeks.
Well, yes, but I mean the best episode ever. Really wasn't heavy on the good wrestling. I mean, I would argue that the main event this week, at the very least, was as good, if not better, than our quarterly three-star match usually is. Because didn't we get like a Chris Candido Bobby Blaze match a few weeks ago? There was like a three-star match. Well, I think our main event probably would have been more if it had a real finish. But
It would have been a
we'll
lot
get
more
to
if it
that
had a
later.
real finish. I actually I went three for the Heavenly Body Bruce Brothers brawl last week. I enjoyed that one.
So is that? I guess it was a match. I was like, well, that wasn't even a match. You're rating post-match brawls, but no, that was a match.
Yeah.
So Double Champion Chris Candido walked in and said, his head and neck still hurt after that vicious attack with a foreign object by Bobby Blaze last week. And people can scoff. It's like, oh, Chris Candido got hit by a pillow and his neck hurt. I'm like, you know something? You hit somebody with the right thing in the right spot, it can do damage, even if theoretically it shouldn't.
I'm sure that's what happened. I'm sure
Yeah.
Candido just wasn't being a little whiny bitch about it.
Yes. And then we're gonna have the filthiest segment of all time, as on Down and Dirty with Dutch. We're gonna have the dirty white boy and dirty white girl, your crush.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if that's going to be dirtier than the church people doing S&M sex on TNA next week.
The what the hell is it called? The sadistic and madness match.
Yeah, is that what that Rihanna song was about?
It's on my uh whatchamacallit, my Spotify playlist, but I don't recall her talking about Jim Mitchell and Malice wrestling you know, the Harris's. I don't even know who else is in that match. Uh, anyway, let's go to the ring. It's Bobby Blaze versus Killer Kyle with Chris Candido in his corner. Did you notice that everybody has alliterative names in this match?
I do, don't they? I'll be damned. How about that?
Yeah. So I got to say, Chris Candido, they said he was in Killer Kyle's corner, but I think he was more of a ring attendant. He was there to assist. Like, for instance, at one point, Bobby Blaze was trapped on the ropes. And, Chris Candido, being the fine, upstanding, Christian athlete that he is, he got Blaze free with his fist to the face. You
What a
know,
gentleman.
I know. Then when Bobby Blaze was ascending to the top rope, Chris Candido, who is your junior heavyweight champion, along with the WWA World Heavyweight Champion as well, he decided, out of the goodness of his heart, a magnanimous gesture, to get up on the ring apron and show Bobby Blaze the title belt.
Oh, that was
Now,
very friendly of him.
yes. Now, Blaze, though, he was a little klutzy here. It happens. But Blaze was so taken aback by the shininess of the U.S. Junior Heavyweight title belt that he took a header to the mat and got pinned by Killer Kyle.
Well, I think you missed something there. I'm not sure what happened. I think he just got confused and he just threw his body in a way that he struck the belt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
If I recall, he struck the belt with like the back of his head too, or
Yeah.
his upper
Oh,
back at least.
Candido must have just felt so terrible about that. By the way,
I
did you
know.
I did note that Blaze when Blaze made his comeback, he did a rolling Copo kick. So he really has been watching his Jushin Liger.
Well, I mean, he had to in order to beat him
Yeah,
in the U.S. Junior Heavyweight title tournament.
exactly.
All right. So Kevin Sullivan walked on the beach for 20 seconds um, before approaching the camera to cut the following promo on your friend and mine, Bullet Bob Armstrong.
Day Thunder, you sent me to the Isle of Exile, the Atlantic Ocean, and now I have to come to the mountains for you, Bullet Bob Armstrong. You're not fooling anybody running underway with the mask as the Bullet. Bob Armstrong, if you had paid my doctor bills, the voices would have stopped. I would have been a good guy. I would have been a calm guy. But Bullet Bob, you see, it's the 4 faces of fear. You're gonna have to face me, not an errand boy, not a Terry Funk, not an Abdullah the Butcher, a man that knows you've made mistakes. You've made 4 that I know of. Brad, Steve, Brian, and Scott. You see. It's such family tradition, and we all know the Armstrongs know about that. 4 faces of fear? I don't want to use this on you, Bob Armstrong. I don't, but he does. The person inside me that lives to see entrails scattered around the face of the earth, to see havoc raised, to see tongues bitten, to see eyeballs hanging out. I don't want to do that, but he does. He's the one that if you paid the bills, he wouldn't have shown up. Mistakes always come back to haunt us. This one's really gonna haunt you. 4 Faces of Fear, Thanksgiving Day Thunder. Ah!
I gotta say, it's quite the ending of a promo. I've never heard anyone yell before.
I think, and I've never seen it. I've only like heard about it, read about it. I think that this was probably an homage as when they debuted Mark Lewin as whatever that gimmick was in Florida during like the Devil Worshipper thing. They had him coming
Yeah.
out of the ocean. I think. By the way, I have something else that you'll appreciate. Over on the Oh My God cast this week, Kevin Sullivan had an enhancement match. Kevin Sullivan had an enhancement match, and it was funny to me because he did exactly what he would have done in the Smoky Mountain enhancement matches, but because it was ECW, he didn't get disqualified, and he just pinned the guy when he was done killing him, and that amused me very much.
So you didn't get to just blow it off by saying Kevin Sullivan got disqualified for kicking too much ass?
No, he kicked a lot of ass, and then he double stomped the guy and pinned him.
God
Oh.
damn it! Why can't more places be like ECW? That's
Before
for the best.
Before we move on, because I know you always skip them, the local promos had a really choice line this week that I enjoyed greatly. Cornette was talking about the gang fight between the Bruise Brothers and the Heavenly Bodies in Paintsville. And he said, Bruise Brothers, you say you're great street fighters? Well, they don't have any streets in Paintsville, only mud paths and horses and buggies. So you're out of luck in Paintsville. And I enjoyed that line very much.
I did hear that. I don't usually fast forward them. I just don't ever really note them.
I don't usually make note of what's in them, but that was a really choice quote, I thought. You're street fighters, but there ain't nothing but mud paths in Paintsville, Kentucky.
And then I did note that Primetime Brian Lee and Tammy cut the last local promo, and then we immediately cut back to Primetime Brian Lee and Tammy cutting a promo. Let's go to that now.
Brothers right now ringside. Here's Primetime Brian Lee and, of course, Tammy Fitch. I know still we got out there looking and facing you two, the dirty white boy, the dirty white girl.
You know, the dirty white girl really makes me nauseous. How could she even call herself a girl? Look at the way she dresses with her tight little clothes, and she looks like such a sleaze. I mean, I've never... Damn, I think she's even got fleas. God, from touching me, I'm getting itchy. I have to go to my dermatologist and get some kind of medicine for the rashes she's gonna give me from keeping her hands on me. But you know, speaking of hands, I heard she's got more hands on her than a doorknob.
You know, dirty white boy, I tell you what, I put your father Ron Wright in a hospital bed, and I'm gonna do the same thing to you. Like father, like son, side by side in intensive care, and I can't wait.
You know what? You know what? I bet where there's a bed involved, you know, dirty white girl will be there.
Primetime Brian Lee, Tammy Fitch fans.
So I believe psychiatrists refer to this as projection. You know, Tammy is ashamed of herself, so she's projecting onto the dirty white girl.
I'm not gonna say that Tammy is easy, but if she had as many dicks sticking out of her as she's had stuck in her, she'd look like a porcupine.
I hear that she's legally not allowed to go into the city of New Orleans because they would have to change their nickname from the Big Easy.
You know what I just realized? This is 1993. So this was the year of the beginning of the Power Rangers craze here in America.
Yes.
So if I had been watching Smoky Mountain Wrestling in 1993, I would have been in love with 2 women named Kimberly.
And well, if Dirty White Girl was still around in like a year and a half, and you were watching WCW, you could have been in love with 3 girls named Kimberly.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm not saying she didn't really do anything. Like she's fine, she's not unattractive, beautiful woman, just not the
She's not your type.
Not my type.
I'd say you like the scuzzy types, but I mean, Kimberly from the Power Rangers wasn't scuzzy.
here's the thing. I like them big. I like them small. I like them all.
Unless their name is Kimberly Page, apparently.
Well, no,
Um,
it's just I don't know. She's too much of a model.
okay. Did I ever tell you my favorite Spice Girl? My favorite Nitro girl was Spice.
Yeah, that's I liked who
She
was
was a
the
blonde
Korean
one.
one? Che.
Shay.
I
Yes,
liked her.
Did you still like her when Kevin Nash said that he was going to go eat a little Korean?
I enjoyed that very much. Good for him.
Um, so let me see here. I've got some sad news to report.
Oh no.
Well, sad is a stretch of the word, but this is the last time I get to say something.
Oh,
Thunder
really?
rolls and the lightning
Oh,
strikes.
the end of an
Yeah,
era.
this is the last TV match for Tim Horner. One Timothy Horner.
Oh, really?
Yes,
So he's
at
just
least as Tim Horner. We're going to see him again in a few months, but not as Tim Horner.
so
Uh,
but this is like he's not like done with the beat the champ thing.
According to Cage Match, he does not have another match.
Okay, well, we shall see.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm guessing what happens is because he's wrestling Prince Karras this weekend during the second annual Thanksgiving Thunder Tour, and I imagine that Prince Karras whoops him.
I am looking at the results here, and spoiler alert: Prince Karras beat Tim Horner all 4 nights of the second annual Thanksgiving Thunder Tour in the second match.
Yeah. Horner, I get. Let me see here, because yeah, I mean, he becomes his new gimmick until he gets fired for pissing off the owner of the company. Um,
His wife
I hear the
helps.
owner. I hear the owner of the company has a little bit of a hair trigger with the temper.
Speaking of
Like
Horner and his various women, do you
it,
think
it,
is it a
it
coincidence, or do you
yeah.
think
I've
they
said
keep doing the call Pam plug while Horner is on screen as a rib?
I wrote that too. I'm like, it has to be an inside joke that they keep plugging Pam Lawson during Horner's matches.
Has to be.
Yes. So in Tim Horner's winner leaves town match, he does in fact defeat Chris Kanyon to retain the Beat the Champ TV title. And well, I hope those extra $1,000 keep coming in handy for all the hospital bills he's about to get during his series of matches with Prince Karras.
Now you have to admit, was that or was that not far and away the best that the Natural Bridge ever looked?
Yes, it's like Tim Horner suddenly realized how to do it.
It was like he
It's
was
like
doing it to somebody who was really good.
I swear it's like he got told this was his last match. And he's like, oh damn, I gotta try this time.
We got to do it right once.
Yeah. All right. So Tim Horner is your winner here in the Beat the Champ TV title match. We then are set to go for Down and Dirty with Dutch, but first we saw a replay of last week's altercation between the Dirty White Boy and Primetime Brian Lee. And then we go to the filthiest segment in Smoky Mountain Wrestling history. Let's go to Dutch.
Okay, now you've seen what happened last week. I am joined here on the Down and Dirty segment by the Dirties, a reunion of the Dirties right here, the Dirty White Boy and the Dirty White Girl. Dirty White Boy, a lot of strong comments made by the tandem of Brian Lee and Tammy Fish, and we want to know your comments about the situation.
Well, talk's cheap when you got to get in the ring and get the job done. That's what says it all, Prime Time. Now, you come out here and you talk about the white girl and you talk about the white boy, but guess what? Everything you've said has already been said before. So it don't matter to us. And I'll guarantee you what's coming up. Thanksgiving Thunder.
Thanksgiving Thunder.
Woo, doggy, there's going to be all kinds of stuff gets broke loose. Prime time, I'm liable to come to the ring with a beer bottle. I'm liable to come to the ring with a hangman's noose. And you can damn sure be well to know that I will show up with this chain. And I hope you've got enough guts to show up and cross that ring. And I tell you what, Prime Time, try to get this chain. Try to get it one time, and I'm going to beat your stinking skull out with this. And what about that little tramp?
Okay, white girl, let me ask you. She has made some strong comments about your personal life, and how are you going to answer these charges?
My personal life? Let me tell you something. That little training bra wearing tramp don't want me to bring up Memphis. I bet her eyes are about to pop out of her head right now. I know a lot of stuff, don't we, white boy?
Yes, we do. You know, Dutch, last time I was in Memphis, Tennessee, me and a couple of my buddies was riding downtown in the baddest part of town, and we stopped at a red light. And all of a sudden, somebody comes up pawing and scratching on the window. I rolled the window down. She said, for $20, you boys can be real happy. And I got to looking. And you know who it was? It was Tammy Fetch. Oh, yeah, baby.
Okay.
So, prime time, Brian Lee. Tom.
Let me ask you one thing. Before I let you go,
Ask me too, it's
a
cheap.
journalistic question. Tracy Smothers is also in the hunt for the Smoky Mountain title, and he has said some things about you, too, that he doesn't trust you. Your comments on Tracy Smothers.
Well, it's simple, Tracy Smothers. If you want to wrestle me anytime, any place, I don't care, because you might as well get ready to wrestle me, because when it's all done at Thanksgiving Thunder, I will be the heavyweight Smoky Mountain champion.
All right, any more comments?
Let me tell you something, and you better listen, and you better listen good. When you go home tonight, you better get down on your knees, and you better pray to God that he takes your soul before I do, honey, because your worst nightmare has just come to life, and I'm fixing to show you what a real butt-kicking is all about.
Whoa, well, there you heard it from the Dirties. Don't go away. We'll be back in 120 seconds.
All right. A solid promo there by White Boy. You know?
Love this. My favorite couple. Hashtag relationship goals.
God, you and White Girl. I had to laugh. A White Boy threatens to come to the ring with a beer bottle, a hangman's noose, and a chain. And of all those things, he dared Primetime Brian Lee and his 50-pound head to get the chain. And White Boy would bust him open with it. White.
If I could change, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If I could change one thing in Smoky Mountain Wrestling history, they could have done it at a hospital bed. Have Mr. Ron Wright in the hospital bed, and have Dirty White Boy visit him, and he reaches under the sheets and he hands him the chisel. And Brian Lee's going to get that chisel up his big, stupid fucking head.
I thought you were going to say hand him the chain. I'm like, well, we already handed him the chain. Like, I think it was before you got here.
No, we got the chain.
Yeah.
We don't have the chisel.
We do not have the chisel, and I'm pretty sure we don't ever get the chisel. Sorry,
that's a shame. Such a shame. Just
yes.
Travesty.
So, I found out White Girl knows that Tammy is, as we call it these days, sex positive. You know? Oh.
I bet she was a lot of things positive back in the
day. In Memphis, apparently Tammy offered herself up for $20. I'm surprised she charged so much, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I didn't believe that at all. I don't think she would have charged.
And then White Girl told Tammy to get down on her knees. I didn't know Tammy swung that way.
Well,
although I guess she's in prison, so maybe she does nowadays, but
sexuality is a moving target.
It is. It really, really is.
Tammy, I hope you're not offended by us poking fun at your sexual promiscuity while you rot in prison for killing that poor man.
we would feel really bad about that, Tammy. Super bad.
Yeah.
Well then, the Harris's show up, and let's go to them for some reason.
And now the big, rough, tough Bruise Brothers. And as we said earlier, they won the battle, but you lost the match last week. The big DQ.
It's like this. Everybody needs to understand this. The Bruise Brothers might have a different attitude. We might be going after some different people. But when you step into the ring against the Bruise Brothers, it don't make any difference how it is. We're going to fight, claw, kick, stomp, break every rule we can because we're still the Bruise Brothers. And when it's said and done, who's standing is the winner. It doesn't matter if it's right or wrong. It doesn't matter if it's a DQ. No matter what, who's standing is the winner. Nothing's changed. And that's usually us. The end always justifies the means, and we get it on any way we can to get the job done. Still the Bruise Brothers, baby. Still the Bruise Brothers.
All right, fans. They are big, rough, tough, mean, the Bruise Brothers.
All right. So, Trae, when the hell did Ron Harris get like 6 inches taller than Don?
Being a Nazi makes you shrink a little. I don't know.
I don't know. So we're implying that he did not become a Nazi until after this segment.
Well, look, unfortunately, I can say with a great deal of empirical evidence of living in the United States over the past 10 years that people become fascist every fucking day.
Indeed, they do. And they talked about the big DQ they had last week. By the way, speaking of DQs, did you see that last week was
Yes.
the 31-year anniversary of Hyde in Kentucky, and
Yeah.
the infamous
Dairy Queen drive-through incident.
Dairy Queen incident. Yes. Actually just watched it. The other day it popped up on my Facebook feed too, or not Facebook feed, but my YouTube feed. So Quinky Dink or not. I didn't realize it lasted like 6 minutes. Like I have this memory of the video being like 2 minutes long. But it was like 6 minutes.
I might have flipped shit if that had happened to me too.
Goddamn.
Well, they put in a big fucking because the story they put in a big. There's a van full of wrestlers, so they put in a big fucking order, and then they get up and we'll start making it. We didn't know if you actually wanted it. What the fuck? I would have thrown a fucking tantrum too.
Oh Lord. By the way, it's also the 20th, I believe, is the anniversary of Mick Foley losing an ear.
Oh, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
31 years? No, 30. Yeah, 31 years.
Yeah. And also WrestleMania 10 was on March 20th, 1994. So that was a busy day for wrestling.
Yeah.
So do you know why Mick Foley could never feed his family corn? Because he only has one ear.
Oh. Har.
You definitely pop for that.
Dork.
Okay. Yeah, sure. Next time you tell a joke, I'm no-selling it completely.
I didn't no-sell it. I sold it appropriately.
So you say. So you say. Alrighty. So then we have a lot of time left on this fucking show. We have like 20 minutes. And we're going to the main event. And
I was excited.
It is, the Heavenly Bodies and Primetime Brian Lee with Jim Cornette and Tammy Fitch versus The Rock and Roll Express and Tracy Smothers. Dutch predicted that there'd be a lot of mistimed moves in this match. How strange of him to say that. Trae,
what was he implying?
I know, right? Trae, are you sitting down over there?
I am.
Good, because I don't want you to fall down. I don't want you to like have a heart attack. I'm gonna say something super shocking here.
Okay.
They got the heat on Ricky Morton.
No, you're fucking kidding. Don't
Yep.
fuck.
Yep.
I told you about playing with my emotions. Why would you just make some shit up just to taunt me?
I swear I'm not making this up. They really got the heat on Ricky Morton during this match.
Really?
Yeah.
And
I
did he
know.
just sell it like he was dying?
He did actually.
Wow.
'Cause
And were there high pitched voices screaming in the crowd?
there were,
Damn.
you know? I bet it turns out Ricky Morton is here to stay and he ain't here to play.
Unless there's
Um,
cake.
yes. So honestly, like there was not a whole lot to say about this match. It was a very good, I don't know, 15 minutes, 14 minutes.
10:25.
It was a very good 10 minutes and 25 seconds.
Yep.
And then we didn't get a finish. Like, we think about like how many matches on this show have ever gone 10 minutes. This is not world class where every other week we have John Mantell and the 10-minute time limit draw. You know, this is
I bet it's
Smoky Mountain where most matches tend to go in the 3 to 6 minute range.
I bet I've seen fewer than like 3 matches on this TV show that were over 10 minutes.
Honestly, I'd almost be surprised you saw 3 of them.
I remember there was one that was really good that between Tracy Smothers and Dirty White Boy that I think was a great brawl. I think it had a fuck finish too, but it was a really good match. That's the one I remember.
Honestly, the only one I remember was the well, 2 of them, the 4-team elimination match that you weren't here for, and the Smoky Mountain version of the Royal Rumble that I can't remember the name of, the one with Buddy Landell winning, doing the 97 Royal Rumble finish.
Oh. Neat.
Yep. What was that?
Neat.
Yes.
But yeah,
It did
this
not, it did not, however, lead to a Final Four match the next week.
oh, most unfortunate. Most unfortunate.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was just this is what the kids call one of those fire 6-man tags. Just quick tags, constant action, just thoroughly good shit. And it was classic, a great TV match with a shitty ending.
Is that what the kids call it these days?
That's what I've heard.
I thought it was like a banger or something. Or is this not good
Oh,
enough to
that
be a
too.
banger?
No, well, yeah. I'd call this a little bit of a banger. Yeah.
So Smothers gets the hot tag and runs wild for about 12 seconds until everyone turns their head to the right because Cornette is sicking the Moondogs on the Rock and Roll Express for theoretically the disqualification. In the ring, we had a 3-on-1 with on Tracy. Caudle at one point said that everyone would be disqualified. I think he misspoke because why the fuck would you DQ the faces in this one?
Yeah.
The Heresy. Sorry, go ahead.
I wrote that the baby faces won by disqualification and put a question mark near it because I'm not exactly sure, but that was what I would assume happened.
Yes. So the Heresies kind of made a save, peeling off the heavenly bodies. And then Tracy Smothers did one of the worst figure 4 leg locks I've ever seen in my life. Did you see this?
It wasn't. I don't. I feel like I've seen worse.
He put the straight leg over the bent leg.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's bad.
Yes. And in case you're listening to this and haven't figured it out, you're supposed to put the bent leg on top because you then use your body to kind of push up on the lower leg and using your legs to push down on the upper leg into the knee of the straight leg.
Yeah, that's how you create 4 points of pressure or whatever.
Yes. And then Tammy made the save, hitting Tracy with the "That's my purse. I don't know you."
Delightful.
Delightful. I don't know why it took me this long to think of that one.
During the
rivalry.
During that long pandemic period when nobody was paying attention to the New Japan English feed, every time somebody did a low blow, Kevin Kelly would go, "That's my purse."
Oh, I both miss King of the Hill and don't miss King of the Hill. And I say that because they're bringing it back and I don't miss it enough to want them to bring it back.
It's funny. My wife and I keep saying that we need to rewatch it now that we live in Texas because it would like it's a
It might,
very accurate depiction of life.
it might not be funny anymore.
Or it might be
Oh my
funnier. I
God.
don't know.
Yeah. Um, I still love the moment where Dale catches John Redcorn going into his wife's bedroom late at night, and he's like, "Ha, I caught you." It's like, "Oh, Dale, I didn't mean for you to find out this way. Get your hands off my mower and get inside and start massaging my wife's shoulders." He's
Pocket
taking some
sand.
of the fun out of this. You watched Parks and Rec, right?
Yes.
Yeah, you know that John Redcorn is the same guy that plays what's his name on Parks and Rec, um,
Who?
the Native American who is always with Leslie, or not always with Leslie, but anytime he's around, he's fucking with white people on Leslie's behalf.
I don't remember that. I have to. It's been quite a while since I watched Parks and Rec.
It's a damn good show. You need to
Yeah.
watch that before you watch King of the Hill,
All right.
or that episode of King of the Hill where Peggy ends up on trial in Mexico and she has to put her Spanish on trial.
Oh, Your Honor, I note that you were a wise horse. That's the one line I remember because it's like the first line.
Yeah. Oh, poor Peggy. John Redcorn. Peggy
Peggy
Hill.
Hill.
Oh, Lord. Do you remember when she fell out of well, she didn't fall out of a plane. She was trying to skydive and the parachute didn't open and
Yeah.
she splat it.
Yeah, that was funny. That was almost great.
Yes. Um, so Primetime Brian Lee, by the way, ran mild because yeah, there's still part of the segment to talk about.
Oh,
Primetime
yeah.
Brian Lee runs mild until Dirty White Boy runs in for the save and sends Brian Lee packing, leaving Dirty White Boy as the ultimate winner of the six-man tag that he was not in.
Well,
After the match, Tracy and White Boy stared at each other. Isn't it nice when ugly people stare at each other?
uh, I suppose.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned earlier that I don't really watch the local promos, and I really don't. But this one I noted. Ron Harris apparently punches you in the face if you try to be nice to him. What a dick!
Nah, well, some of that checks out.
Yeah. Okay, then I thought the show was over. I mean, I looked at the bottom of the screen. I could see there's still 3 minutes left.
I gotta tell
But
you,
I'm in my
I was
head. I'm like, oh,
appalled. I was appalled until I realized what was happening.
in my head, I'm like, okay, they're gonna have like Brian Lee's gonna cut a promo, or White Boy's gonna cut a promo, or maybe even Tracy's gonna cut a promo. No, 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 no. We can't have that. Oh, the Bullet hasn't been on this show. It is the final show during Thanksgiving Thunder. He's got the four faces of fear against Kevin Sullivan, and we have not heard from the Bullet. So obviously it's time for the Bullet, right?
Yeah, surely.
No, no, no.
Who's the time for?
Suddenly, and I'm going to read exactly what I wrote. Oh, for fuck's sake! Let's go to Bob Caudle with like, what is wrong with Mike Furness's face? Like, the droopy hangdog face. Like, I should
Well,
make fun.
you think he has the Jufro to distract from it?
Oh my God. Too far. Boo. Boo.
Why was that too far?
Wow. All right,
That
let's
was the
go.
one.
Yes. Boo! We're getting canceled now for sure. All right, let's go to Bob Caudle, who is with Mike Furness, because of course he is.
Right now, here is young man we welcomed a few weeks ago to Smoky Mountain Wrestling, Mike Furness. Mike, I know you've been working out, you've been getting ready, and it's not going to be long. You're going to be making your debut on Smoky Mountain Wrestling.
Well, we're not ready for it yet, but we're training hard and looking forward to seeing all the fans out there. Tim Horner's working on me, and we're doing everything we can to get ready.
Well, of course, you come from a great football background. Wait a minute. Jim Cornette.
I want you to do something about those Bruce brothers. They're crazy. They're out of their mind, and I want you to do something about them.
This is supposed to be our interview.
Jim, I'm talking to this young man here, Mike Furness. This is his.
Mr. Touchdown, huh?
Yeah, what are you doing?
I want to complain about some wrestling. I don't want to talk about football. I am so sick of hearing Mike Furness is training. Mike Furness is working out. Mike Furness is in the camp. Mike Furness had breakfast today. Mike Furness has a zit on his face. I'm so sick of hearing it. This is wrestling. This ain't football. Let me tell you something, Mr. Touchdown. As far as I'm concerned, football ain't got no place in wrestling. I hate football, as a matter of fact. I think the people that play football are jerks. You were a big-time football player, right? Mr. College, Mr. Touchdown. You were a guard and a tackle. You guarded the water and you tackled anybody that tried to get it. You've been cut so many times you were bleeding to death. As far as I'm concerned, I'm sick of that's all I hear around Knoxville. That's all I hear about this part of the country. University of Tennessee, high school football, college football.
That's it. I'm
Wait a minute.
And Furness has got him.
I may not be a professional wrestler yet, but I will tell you something. I am an experienced football player. I'll take you down to the nearest football field. You keep talking to me like that, put you right on the
ground. Behind. Here come the heavenly bodies. They got Furness from behind. And Cornette with a big tennis racket right to the back, and another big tremendous blow from the racket. Furness trying to fight his way out. He's only him against three right now. Jimmy Del Rey holding him. Tom Pritchard holding him. Cornette now trying to get more licks in as he holds him. All three of them continuing to stomp, kick, go at Mike Furness. Down to the floor he goes, and now they all three kick and stomp away at him. No,
Mr. Big-time football player, huh?
No reason.
Hey, I know all those football players, they got bad knees. Well, hey, Mike Furness, your knees can get hurt in wrestling too, boy. Give it to him.
Now with a chair.
Give him.
Right down across the leg. And across the arm, and across again, the leg with that chair as they continue to drive it. What are you trying to do? Maim the guy, cripple the guy? 3 against 1. Jim Cornette and the heavenly bodies. The Bruise Brothers may have something to say about this. The Bruise Brothers may have a lot to say to you, Jim Cornette.
All right, so that's how the show goes off the air. So I want to clear up some confusion, Trae. This was Mike Furness getting beaten up, not Mark Angelo Setti of Chikara. Mr. Touchdown.
Okay. I never realized that you could sound like you have an underbite until I heard Mike Furness speak.
I didn't realize you could sell a chair shot to the leg until I saw Mike Furness do it. Dr. Tom hits him with a chair, and time stands still before Mike Furness decides to sell it. At one point, Mike threatens to take Jim Cornette down to the field and play football with him. And I mean, Jim is not a sports fan, so I mean that. I could see why he was afraid about this.
Honestly, probably one of the worst things you could do to him.
Yes. I mean, maybe play tennis with him. You know. I know I've mentioned this before, but I just love this segment. Remember when Iron Sheik and Jimmy Snuka were paying tribute to Vince McMahon during Vince McMahon Appreciation Night, and Sheiky Baby talked about who used to play racquetball with Vince? That is something I would pay money to see. Why was that not on the WWE network? Iron Sheik playing
Right?
racquetball with Vince McMahon.
Would have been better than Legends House.
Exactly. Um, so Tim Horner is working on Mike Furness. I don't know how to take that. Cornette storms in to save the segment, and Mike and Bob did their best to ruin it because they both insisted that they talk to Mike Furness. Um, Cornette popped me when he said Mike Furness had breakfast today. Um, do you remember that episode of Corner Gas where Wanda was fixing Emma and Oscar's toilet, and she talked, and one point she's like, she keeps being interrupted. How's it going in there? Are you all right? Would you like some lemonade? That's what I thought of when Cornette said that. Um,
Funny.
so Heavenly Bodies attacked Mike Furness from behind, and Tom chaired him in the thigh, and the show soon ended.
Hate it when I get cheered in the thigh.
Yes, that is now a verb. He got shared.
Always was. Always was.
Yes. Well, it's not a verb that most people tend to use, you know.
Nah.
So 96 down, 104 to go.
Yeah. Think we'll make
What
it?
did you think about? Yeah. I mean, at this point, I think I will. We may have a bigger problem me getting to the end of TNA at this point, but yeah.
Yeah, well, if all goes well, I guess I'll stay alive that long.
You can't tell by the way I use my walk. I'm a woman's man. No time to talk.
Okay.
It's staying alive.
I know. I know.
Okay. Well, you made it sound like you didn't get the reference.
I didn't, but it made sense when you said it.
Yes. Okay. Okay. So what do you think about Peeps, by the way?
No, thank you.
So this other guy that I'm talking to, because yeah, apparently when it rains, it pours in my love life. Um, I was talking to him before Silent Book Club, and I told him that afterwards I had to go to Walmart to pick up a few things before heading home, and he said to pick him up some Peeps, and I said ew, and now he's also allergic to cats, so this relationship really isn't going to work out with me and this guy. But I'm like,
Aw.
ew, no cats, and now you want Peeps? And he's like, yummy. And he's like, you just don't give Peeps a chance. I'm like, nope, you are weirder than me.
Yeah, I am not a Peeps person, but Easter is still probably my favorite candy holiday because I fucking love jelly beans, and like Easter's the one time that like you get the Skittles jelly beans and the Starburst jelly beans and the Nerds jelly beans. Like everybody puts their jelly beans out, and it's just
Nerds, nerds,
it's a
nerds,
very happy
nerds,
time for me.
nerds, 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 nerds.
Nerds jelly beans are really good.
I always laugh, and when you talk about jelly beans, I mean, okay, fine, like the Skittles jelly beans and other jelly beans, those tend to be once a year things. But I mean, you can get regular jelly beans anytime during the year. It actually
Oh
made me think about
yeah.
how um I love turkey, and to me, you can have turkey anytime during the year, but we've been conditioned to believe that you pretty much can only have turkey on Thanksgiving. And I remember saying once to my mom, I'm like, why don't we have turkey? She's like, it's not Thanksgiving. I'm like, it doesn't have to be Thanksgiving. And
Well, you can go to a Renaissance fair.
well, the only Renaissance fair around here, at least that I'm aware of, happens in October, or late September, early October.
Well, maybe you start a spring Renaissance.
I already started a silent book club. You want me to also start a Renaissance fair?
Oh, you started Silent Book Club?
Well, I didn't start the OG Silent Book Club, which was the one that I went to tonight. So when I went to Silent Book Club the first time back in December, I was wondering, man, someone should make one in my town because this is in a nearby town. And then I'm like, wait, I'm somebody. And
You
so
are.
yes, I made the second silent book club in our area, and there's now three of them.
Right on. So what are
So,
you reading?
right now, I have a specific silent book club book where I only read it during silent book club. It's Sycamore Row by John Grisham. It's like I think the main reason why I took it was because A, I hadn't read it in a while, and B, it's like a 650-page book. Um, but I only have like 30 pages left, so I need to make sure I have a second book for the next silent book club, which will be
I
mine on April 3rd.
I don't read a lot of fiction, but I'm very excited. I haven't got the chance to jump into it yet. But the new Hunger Games prequel dropped today, so excited for that.
Nice. I'll be honest, I didn't read any of, I don't know. I mean, they've done other things. I don't know if they've done prequels before, but they've done other books outside of the primary uh Hunger Games books, right?
Yeah, yes, yeah. So there was another prequel called The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which it was
Yeah.
I think it came out around 2020. And I didn't look into it because I thought, I don't know, a lot of the feedback was negative about it. And then last year for because I think the movie for Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes was getting ready to come out. And I started being
Mhm.
curious about it, so I read it and like, oh wow, it's really I I love a good prequel because I love world building. That's like the most enjoyable part of fiction to me. So yeah, I really enjoyed that one, and I'm sure I'm gonna enjoy what's it called? Sunrise on the Reaping.
Is that what the new Hunger Games book is called?
Yes.
Um, if, I know this is like last year news, but do you know the movie is A Quiet Place?
Yes, I do. I haven't seen them, but I'm aware of them.
Okay, so I watched the first one years ago, and then last year when I was on the AMC A list and I was seeing three movies a week, I was out there when the prequel to A Quiet Place came out, A Quiet Place Day One, and I was kind of interested to see how it was set up, and it just sucked. It was so bad. In my opinion,
Oh,
it ruined the franchise. Like, not saying like I'm sure if they do more movies, they'll make money, but I think it ruins the franchise, this prequel. But yeah.
yeah. I my most of my experience with those is the pitch meeting videos.
Hmm.
Super easy, barely an
So,
inconvenience.
so I don't think we've discussed the finish of Revolution on this show, have we? When Christian tried cashing in and failed miserably.
I don't remember if we talked about it or not. We alluded to the show, but I don't know if we talked specifically about that.
I, I actually we may have talked about because I remember talking to you about how creative I thought Christian passing out, but like almost winning with, his finger on edge was.
Yes, yes, love that.
Like that. I don't want to say I wanted him to win that way, but if he was, that would have just been perfect.
Yeah, and he probably shouldn't have won, but
Yeah.
I don't know.
I do
That's
think I,
I'm
I do think, and I'm sure this has been beaten to death by other people. I do think it was a complete waste of the whole thing. Like in a way, it's like they tried to make their own money in the bank, but like it was done, in my opinion, and I'm sorry, and you might disagree with me about this. It was done very half-assed because like it
it
wasn't even just a
was
yeah.
it was
Right?
and then that concept is so fucking exhausted that I never want to see it again.
Yeah. It's like I I don't know. It's like I kind of liked the idea of it, but it was too much like, oh, this is money in the bank. This is our guaranteed title shot, anytime, any place. And like, you know, I don't fucking know. I just thought I thought it was pretty fucking stupid, the execution of it. I didn't like that, and I get that who was it, Ospreay? No, it was Powerhouse Hobbs that won it. I didn't like it that they did another Casino Gauntlet match while Christian had the clipboard, even though like Powerhouse Hobbs didn't get a clipboard or whatever.
Girl, they did
But
two. Have you
well, they
forgot they
did the
did the
women.
tag team one last year? Oh, the women, they
Well,
did three.
Well, but that's different. Well, it's different-ish. It's like they didn't do three men's singles casino gauntlet matches. They only did one men's singles gauntlet match. Either way, it's like I do accept that they should do that once a year. But that's the
Yeah.
thing. It should be once a year. It's not here are your 6 winners of the 2025 Casino Gauntlet matches. It's like, no, this is your one winner of the Casino Gauntlet match. This is your one women's winner of the Casino Gauntlet match. This is your one tag team winner. I will say I don't like them being on Dynamite just because, like, I get they don't want to do entrances during the commercial break, but it just fucks up with the flow of the match. I was like, oh, you can come out anytime. And like some people are coming out after 30 seconds, some people are coming out after 5 minutes. Like it kind of defeats the flow of the match.
Yeah,
Um,
did 6 of those fucking things in the past year.
I remember Ospreay winning the one to wrestle Roderick Strong.
Ospreay won 3 of them. Ospreay has won every one that he was in.
By the way, the preview of this show is going to include the phrase Arya rants about the Casino Gauntlet match again. Because if there's one thing that Arya likes ranting about, it's apparently the Casino Gauntlet match.
Well,
yeah.
yeah.
I
What happened in wrestling this week? Are we going to do that?
Yes, I was actually just about to get to that. The show's only gone on for an hour. It's like I'm trying to stretch it to fill some time or something here. But the New York Daily News has reported that Hulk Hogan is the unidentified WWF wrestler that was named in Vince McMahon's federal indictment for steroid distribution.
Shocked.
Yeah.
Shocked.
Now, of course, this is going to go on to be kind of a big deal where Hogan basically gets out of whatever legal trouble he may be in by agreeing to testify against Vince. And then he thumbs his nose at the government and doesn't give them what he wants. But it makes me wonder why they didn't go after him afterwards. It's like, they are allowed to do that. You don't have to, okay, you gave him immunity, but the immunity hinges on him delivering. And
they just thought it wasn't worth it.
Apparently. And by the way, in case you're curious, this is not 2025 news. This is this week in wrestling history. We tell you what else is happening this week, because I can tell you November 27th, 1993, until I'm blue in the face. But this gives you some context where you go, oh, I remember that. Is that what happened? And I say, yes, it is. And the New York Daily News reported this on Thanksgiving Eve. You know what else was on Thanksgiving Eve? Allegedly.
Survivor Series?
Allegedly, the Survivor Series. I say allegedly because Dave called it both SummerSlam and Royal Rumble during the report.
Well, that's just Dave daving.
Yeah, we'll actually talk about Dave daving in a minute here. But anyway, the Survivor Series was headlined by Lex Luger being the sole survivor in the All-Americans Foreign Fanatics main event. This is also around the time where it became obvious that they missed their spot with Lex Luger. Luger really should have won the belt at SummerSlam. And he is sinking fast at this point.
Yeah, it's unfortunate.
And then in what is considered by most to be the best match on the show, just don't ask the crowd, at the Boston Garden that night, the Heavenly Bodies defeated the Rock and Roll Express to win the Smoky Mountain Tag Team titles in a match with zero audience reaction. And to make it even funnier, it was sandwiched between two of the worst matches of 1993 with the Four Hearts versus Shawn Michaels and his Knights. which included Greg Valentine, Jeff Gaylord, and Barry Horowitz. Because this is the show where Terry Funk was supposed to be a knight, and then he realized how fucking bad the match was going to be, and so he went home to take care of his horse.
I love that so
Um,
much.
yes. I just love that one of the worst matches of the year featured Bret Hart, Owen Hart, and Shawn Michaels. You know,
How
it's
about that?
how about that? And then the other worst match of the show, or the worst match of the year, was the Four Doinks versus Bam Bam Bigelow, Bastion Booger, and the Head Shrinkers. And
Oh, that was bad.
this Boston crowd, which did not care for the Smoky Mountain Tag Team title match at all, they cheered like the second coming of Christ for that Four Doinks match.
Fucking Boston.
I love Boston, but we have problems. And the Four
Big ones.
Doinks, in case you've never watched this match, were the Bushwhackers and Men on a Mission. I'll be honest. I was 9 years old at the time. I remember watching this on pay-per-view, and I marked out for it being the Bushwhackers and Men on the Mission. Especially
Men on a mission. Go ahead.
When Oscar came out dressed as Doink as well, doing the rap. It's like that was great.
Just, can you imagine how much you have to suck to be the worst guy on a tag team when your partner is Mabel?
Mo was really bad. And
So bad.
when you think about it, like they took him out of the ring when Men on a Mission turned heel. So basically Mo became his manager. Like he wrestled a couple times, but by and large it was Mabel is getting a main event heel push and Mo was his manager.
Yeah. And Mabel, nobody ever accused of being good, but Mo was bad.
Honestly, and I mean I never watched the Harlem Nights in Memphis, so maybe like that was the whole gimmick anyway, but it's like if they would have brought him in, like, and I was watching Superstars a lot from that 93 era recently, and it's like, I think if they had brought him in and pushed him as a monster heel, like, don't put him in purple baggy pajamas, like,
Yeah.
don't put him in Big Daddy V gear either, but something, somewhere between the two, there has to be a happy medium of flatteringness
What
here.
about a big
But
shiny leather coat?
Yeah, there you go. The Viscera gear would have worked better, but uh, I think he could have had a decent run as a heel monster in 1993. The problem was by 95, we'd already seen him as the happy-go-lucky rapper. By 1998, we already seen him as King Mabel, and by 2005, we saw him dry humping Jonathan Coachman.
Hey, has he shown up in TNA yet?
Not yet. I know
think
he
that's
does.
coming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, one of the lone positives of that Survivor Series show was the start of the Owen Hart heel turn.
Yes.
Because he was the only person eliminated during the Four Hearts match. And what happened was they got the heat on Bret. Bret was getting his ass kicked. He made the hot tag to Owen and was down to all Four Hearts and Shawn. And Owen was doing his thing and Bret was recovering on the apron. Owen runs off the ropes while Bret is walking down the curtain there, and he runs into Bret. Bret crashes into the guardrail, and Shawn Michaels rolls up Owen Hart for the pin. And Owen, the only Hart brother eliminated during the match, pissed off. He walks off, and then at the finish, after the Harts win, he comes back out, yanks Bret off of the turnbuckles, and shoves him.
I know that we're not to Royal Rumble yet, but I am like physically incapable of describing the action of kicking someone's leg out from under them without saying he kicked his leg out of his leg.
Pretty much. But like, yeah, and it's honestly they couldn't even cover it up. Like I remember watching the Coliseum videotape, and like they could not cover that up at all. That's why I kicked
Yeah.
your leg out of your leg.
Yeah, brilliant.
Oh God. But yeah, Owen is turning heel. And hey, if someone's gonna make money with Brett, it might as well be Owen. But this is actually,
Yeah.
you know,
Good.
um, the reason why Owen got the push because Pat Patterson originally wanted to be Bruce. The original plan was Bruce was gonna get a run as a heel feuding with Brett, and that Owen was gonna be the setup guy as the pansy that would lead to Brett finally wrestling Bruce of all people at WrestleMania. And Brett, who was negotiating a new contract, um, hey, whatever works. He was able to hold Vince's nuts to the fire and got Owen put in the feud instead of Bruce.
It was a very good choice, I believe.
Yes, no doubt. But that certainly didn't lead to good feelings among Brett and Bruce. Um, but yep. Um, let's see. What else do you want to talk about? We're only an hour into the
Oh,
show.
I'm sorry. I talked for like 10 seconds and realized that I was muted. So
What were you
it's so
talking
dumb.
about?
Well, I had commented on Owen Hart and how good of a choice that was to do him instead of Bruce. And then I said, speaking of Owen Hart,
Speaking
did
of
you
Owen Hart,
go and start looking at y'all in tickets immediately when Ospreay declared that he's entering the Owen to try to get the title shot at y'all in?
no, because I was asleep. But when I looked it up later, that's when I asked you, where were you sitting?
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Yes. I like I'm sorry, they still should already have the belt on him at this point. It's like I get it, but yeah. And I I guess I can see why they would do it, but I would not do him versus Moxley. I don't think that would be like it'd be a fine match, but I don't think it would be like this all-time classic.
Yeah, they probably should do that match at some point though. Moxley does have a singles win over Ospreay, I think.
He
Yeah.
does.
Let's see here. Apparently it was quite good. I had it at 4.25. New Japan, Windy City Riot, April 16th, 2022.
I wanted to believe that your rating was quite good.
Well, I mean, I think 4.25 is quite a good rating.
Well, I thought like the rating itself, like not 4.25 stars, the rating would be quite good.
No.
Oh, Lord. Um, there's really not a whole lot happening in the world of wrestling right now to be like, oh, what do you think about this? Um, you know, what
Yeah.
what what do you think about the roast of WrestleMania with comedian Tony Hinchcliffe, whomever the fuck that is?
I Whoever the fuck that is what I have to say about that.
Okay. So you ready for WrestleMania weekend?
Uh no.
Okay.
I'm you're going to Vegas, so you're gonna have a great time,
I
and
am.
I'm gonna live vicariously through you as you go to all these shows. I
I,
have
I
I can't say for sure anything yet. There are some oars in the water that I might have some pretty big stuff going on in real life that week
nice.
ish.
I mentioned the absolute mind fuck that it's going to be for me. Going to Progress at midnight Pacific time because I live on the East Coast. Midnight Pacific is 3 a.m. here. And when the show ends, it's going to be six, well, five. I don't know how long
Oh,
it's actually going to be, but it's going to be 5:30, 6 a.m. on the East Coast. And I'm just going to be going back to my hotel room to go to sleep.
You're gonna be fucked up on top of jet lagged.
Yep, and that's my first day because I get in late Wednesday night around 11 o'clock. And then Thursday, I got the three shows I'm going to the WrestleCon Super Show, the TNA show, and then Progress. And then Friday morning, I'm going to Ed in San Antonio's show.
Right on, right on. That sounds like a good time.
Yes.
But look, do you have a list? Like, do you keep track of all the wrestling shows you've been to?
I really should. I know I used to, but like that was also when I hadn't gone to that many. But like I know there are tons of indie shows that I'd probably never remember all of them. How about you?
I do in fact have a list of every single one. My
Like
last show was number 77, which I don't know if that's a lot or not. That's a lot for
I
some people, not as much for other people.
I don't know. Like I remember there would be the occasional indie show near my tiny little town when I was growing up. I remember seeing Doink, which I'm sure was Tom Brandy at one. Um, and I remember seeing King Kalua, uh, was one of those local Northeast Pennsylvania indie guys that,
Yeah.
one person out there just popped for me mentioning King Kalua. Um, and just a whole bunch of random indie shows. That was when I was a kid, so I really don't remember all of them. And then probably like 2005 was when I started really getting into more local indies. And saw a bunch of ECPW stuff, East Coast Pro Wrestling. There was also the Worldwide Wrestling Association, I think was what all three W stood for because it's WWWA. And that was always a screwy indie show because like ECPW, they would they would bring in the past their prime legend. Like they would bring in the Honky Tonk Man or Jim Neidhart, things like that.
Yeah.
But the rest of the show would be pretty good. It'd be pretty good low level indie wrestlers, like very well trained, things of that nature. WWWA would spend all their money on big names. Like I saw Samoa Joe and AJ Styles doing an indie match while they were in TNA. So it was like '06,
Uh,
'07. But then like the local guys were like the piss poorest local wrestlers you've ever seen. Like first day out of wrestling school level type of guys. Which again, hey, you got to learn, you got to go out there and get reps and everything. But it just felt like the entire show from the second match from the top down was first match of their career guys.
yeah, I've only been to a couple of really small indie shows like that. About a week after my first show, which was a WWE house show, I went to an independent show at an elementary school gym in a town of about 1,500 people. And was main evented by Doink the Clown, who I do not believe was Matt Bourne.
Yes, I I just assumed basically every Doink the Clown I ever saw was Tom
Yeah.
Brandy.
The only show that I do not have results for that I used to and I lost, and I hope to find a flash drive or something. I deleted a bunch of shit in a fit of like when my life fell apart, and the only thing of value that I really lost was the result to this Deep South Championship Wrestling. Not to be confused with the WWE developmental one in Georgia. This was the company out of South Louisiana run by Rodney Mack and Jazz. Because
Nice.
I never had any idea until they promoted the show in 2011. Rodney Mack actually went to the college where I went to undergrad and played football there.
Hmm.
So yeah, so they did a show there, and I remember the main event was Rodney Mack and another guy who was a wrestler who had also played football at our university, and I can't remember his name. His name was Johnny something, and I want to say Johnny Hotbody, and that's definitely not right. But it was Rodney Mack and Johnny somebody against Rudy Boy Gonzalez and Byron Wilcott. Do you remember Big Daddy Yum Yum? Had a little run in New Japan. That is
Yep.
Byron Wilcott. Yeah,
Wasn't he also a football player?
entirely
Didn't he play
possible.
a little
Yeah.
football? Um,
Well, yeah,
so it is the New Orleans area, so I mean everyone has to play a little football.
yeah.
Um, so WrestleMania 28 weekend, they did a Legends of Florida wrestling show, and it was like some of them are stretches when you're calling them Florida wrestling legends, because like the New Age Outlaws wrestled on the show, like Vader wrestled on the show, like Legends of Florida wrestling was a stretch of the wording, but
Legends of Wrestling
any
who have been to Florida before.
yes, that's pretty close to it. Although the main event was like five Florida guys versus five Georgia guys. I'd have to look up the results. It was a really fun show. But anyway, one of the matches in the card, I forget who she was wrestling, and I think I told the story before, but Leilani Kai was wrestling, and she was on the ropes, where you're strung out over the middle rope and laying to rest until Chris Candido comes by and punches you in the face. Um, Whomever she was wrestling came up and gave her the big sit down in while the person's draped on the corner, and Leilani Kai's gum flew out of her mouth into the first row where it landed on me.
Wow,
That,
amazing.
that was not a souvenir that I kept.
I
Um,
got
and I,
uh I got beer thrown on me by Tommy Dreamer at the WrestleCon Super Show in 2014, which would have been
oh, nice.
fine, except I was in New Orleans and I had to drive like 20 miles back to my hotel. Like, dude,
I was gonna
really?
say you were the designated driver.
Yeah, I was driving
Uh,
myself.
yeah. Um, oh yeah. So The, by the way, I remembered that story because I was talking to Aubrey about refereeing, and she had mentioned like one of the nastiest parts is the wrestlers who chew gum. She has to be the person that she has to pick it up and throw it out of the ring when it falls out of their mouths.
Oh,
And so that's what we
yeah,
think
that's
about that
gross.
story. But anyway, so remember when Jay Briscoe won the ROH title from Kevin Steen?
Hmm.
Uh, so that very night, instead of going to that show, I allowed my brother and our friend Guy to drag me to a CZW show going head to
Oh,
head. And it was a very CZW show. Like literally, I think the only match I enjoyed was I'd have to look at the results, but I think Colt Cabana did a comedy match in like the second match. And that was the best match of the show, just because nobody got head trauma that match. Um,
it's
anyway, so the main event was um whatever they call their, extreme death matches. And Jun Kasai
ultra
was in the
violent.
match. Yes. Jun Kasai was in the main event, and
Kasai.
at the Kasai, fine, whatever. So the end of the match comes, and he's covered in blood and glass and whatever the fuck else he was landing on. And we were standing near the railing, and I was just standing there, absentmindedly taking pictures of, what was going on. And suddenly Jun Kasai leaps out of the ring and runs at me at the guardrail. And I jumped about 35 feet backwards into the not so loving arms of the other fans at ringside.
We were at we went to a Ring of Honor television taping at the Nashville Fairgrounds, and it was the
Mhm.
taping where Alberto El Patron debuted, and he wrestled
Castle El
Christopher
Patron.
Daniels.
Yep.
Yeah,
Yep.
he wrestled Christopher Daniels. My wife will never let me live this down. This was 10 years ago. She still brings it up. Alberto, we were in the front row, kind of like near a corner.
Yep.
Alberto whips Daniels toward us. I just like, I see it coming and I just tense up. And my wife says I scooted myself back. I don't remember that. But apparently I just abandoned my blind wife to have Christopher Daniels ram into the metal guardrail that then rammed into her knees.
Is she okay, or was she okay?
Yeah, she was okay. But
That's
she's never gonna let me live that down.
that's good. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so a Super Card of Honor in California before WrestleMania 31. Um,
Oh,
I was at the Ring of Honor show. Well, obviously, it was a Super Card of Honor. Samoa Joe was wrestling
Jay
Jay
Briscoe.
Briscoe. Yes,
Hmm.
Jay Briscoe. And during the show, I kept sneaking up into better and better seats. If the show would have gone one match longer, I would have been in the front row. But anyway, this is what happens when you're by yourself at a show. You can get into better seats if you try hard enough. Um, but so at one point, and you can go back and watch this on Honor Club. Uh, Jay Briscoe I think Jay Briscoe is whooped into the guardrail in front of me. I'm standing in the crowd, second or third row, standing there, and Samoa Joe comes charging in my direction, and not that I'm oblivious of him doing this because I'm taking a picture, but I'm oblivious that I may need to move out of the way right now. Um, you you can go back and look at like the picture came out shitty, by the way, which makes it even worse. But you can go back and like watch the tape. I'm just standing there la-di-da, and everyone else is moving out of the way, and I'm just standing there while Samoa Joe's charging in my direction. The good news is Samoa Joe did not slaughter me that night.
I need to go back and watch that Alberto and Christopher Daniels match. Let's see
There
if
you
we're
go.
visible.
I always remember NXT Takeover Dallas when I'm standing. I was so pissed, but because I was a huge Bailey fan. In fact, I still am a huge Bailey fan, and like I'm standing there at the guardrail, and she comes out for her match with Asuka, and she runs in my direction for the hug with the fans. And I have my arms stretched wide open. I'm wearing my purple Bailey shirt. She runs up and hugs the person next to me.
Oh,
And then
that
she
sucks.
lost to Asuka. Coincidence? I think not.
I have a little bit of a regret because that was the Sami Zayn Shinsuke Nakamura match.
Yes, it
And
was.
the thing was they did not announce that they were gonna do a takeover there until like way late. And I had already bought tickets for Ring of Honor at the same time.
You summon a bitch. See, I
Hey,
got my tickets for Takeover before I knew Nakamura and Zayn were going to be sports entertaining that night.
I got the Young Bucks against the Motor City Machine Guns, so I got no complaints.
Yeah. Well, I got Baron Corbin versus Austin Aries.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not the brag that you know. Uh,
I can't
also,
believe I can't believe that I am seriously gonna watch these last set of Maple Leaf Pro shows when one of the main events was Bram defending the NWA World Heavyweight Championship against Baron Corbin.
yes, Baron freaking Corbin, yo.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. But what was it? It was the Revival took on American Alpha at the show I was at.
Yeah.
So,
It's a great match.
you know, yeah, yes, it was. Actually, like I don't remember that match being that great. Like it was a great match. Like it was a very, very good match, but they went on to have better matches, which I guess there's nothing necessarily wrong with that. But yeah. Then like
I
Shinsuke Nakamura's like second match on WWE was against the Drifter, and it was like,
yeah.
wow, you know.
When they were doing like the big NXT house shows where it would be like, the actual TV crew, I went to
Yep.
one that had a DIY revival match that's like the best 2v2 tag match I've ever seen live.
Mhm. So elsewhere on that card, American Alpha defeated the Revival, Austin Aries defeated Baron Corbin, Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Sami Zayn, Asuka defeated Bailey, and in the main event, Finn Balor defeated Samoa Joe. That was the show that Finn Balor's head kept getting busted open, and they kept stopping the match to dry him up.
Oh, I had forgotten that.
Yep, yep. Anyway, now that we've added like a good 30 minutes onto the show that wasn't originally planned for this show,
There we
uh,
go.
yeah, I think it's time to call it a night. Um, so tomorrow night, Friday night spot show. No idea when we're going to be taping it at this point, because allegedly I have a date. So it'll be there. We promise. It may be the Saturday morning spot show, but there'll be a show. I promise.
Yeah.
But listen to the Oh My God cast. But thank you all for listening, and we'll talk to you again in 7 days.
Bye.